Hello, in this video, we shall see the 10 verbs which can make us an expert in writing and understanding SQL query scripts. This video assumes a very basic understanding of relational databases and of SQL queries, with the hope that once you understand these 10 basic verbs, you shall be able to understand and write SQL queries with ease. Let's get started. So we are going to use SQLite in this instructional video. Why? Because of the convenience it provides, and the installation is very lightweight. So you don't have to install heavy packages, but it would give you a lightweight package and you would be able to do whatever is required with SQLite in this instructional video. So let's get started. The first thing is you can download the SQLite and get it installed. The instructions are very easy. I'll link this page in the description, so this will be available to you. So I'll go to the command prompt now and I would get started. So the first thing which I'll do is SQLite 3. This is the third version I'm using, and I'll put the database name. So if the database is not existing, it'll create a file and it'll create a database in the file. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's say learn.db. So this has opened this database. Now what I want to do is I want to have the headers on. And the other thing which I like to do is I like to do mode as box. So what does this mean? Once I have set the mode as box, I would be able to see the layout of SQL output in a box mode. I'll show you once it comes. But for now, let me set the mode as box. So these are the two things, the settings which I like to do. If you have to see the databases, you can say .databases and it will show you the databases. So this is the database which I'm using in read and write mode. Okay. So now what I'll do is .tables, and there is no table, so it will list nothing. So now what I'll do is I'll go to the instructional page and I'll copy the thing which I want to copy. So what I want to copy is this customers. So this is basically a create table instruction. Let's read this statement, SQL statement. So it is creating a table by the name customers, and inside the customers there are these different columns which are there: customer ID, which is a primary key, first name, last name, country and age. And then subsequently I'm going to insert some values into this table. So this is like a prerequisite. Let me copy this data and let me create this table. Okay, so the prerequisite which I wanted to do is done. Now if I do a select star from customers, and so this, because I had set the mode as box, I'm able to see it neatly organized, okay, in a box format. So this select was our very first SQL query which we wanted to understand. It retrieves the data from the database. Where clause is a conditional element which we have to use. So select star from customers where name equal to John. So if I do this, I would be getting the data where, sorry, it is not name, it is first name. Okay, so we got the information about John. So this is the where clause. Now the next one is a and or a or. So I'll just copy and paste for making it quick. So what we did was we are able to get where the country is USA. So country is USA in 3 places and age is 25, more than 25. So more than 25 is only on those 2 cases. Hence 2 records are selected here. So this was 25, even though the country is USA, but age is not greater than 25. Hence this record was not matched and it was not filtered. Now, if in case you have to order by, meaning you have to list the elements in ascending or descending order, you can use order by, and order by ASC is ascending order. And if in case I do the same thing, but instead of ASC, I put DSC, it would be in the descending order. So what I did was last name descending. So this is the last name and this is descending. You can see here, and it was the last name and it was ascending. So the condition was last name ascending. So here it was last name. D comes before J, which comes before S, which comes before W. Then limit. So if in case we have to limit the number of items we want to show, we can use limit. So I would use limit and it will show me only 2 customers. Even though this query would have all the customers, there is no filter criteria here, but because I have put a limit, it is showing me only 2 elements. Now this is a very interesting clause. So this is group by. So in group by, what happens is you are trying to group the columns, and this is primarily used for aggregate functions, aggregation of things. If we have to do aggregation of numbers, if we have to do, we use this. For example, if we have to sum all the ages, or we have to find average age in the customer case, max, min, or we have to count the number of rows with a given criteria, then we can use. Let's see it with an example. So let's read the query here. Select country, average age from customers, group by country. So I grouped it by, there are only 2 countries, but the first thing which we have to read is we have to group it by country, and country is Canada or USA. And then I have to aggregate for the Canada what was the different ages and what is the average of those ages. So if we see Canada here, so if you see Canada here, there are 2 elements of Canada, 30 and 20. So the average would be 30 plus 20 divided by 2, 50 by 2, which is 25. And for USA, there are 3 people who are there. If you add them, it would sum to 100. So 100 by 3 is average, and it is 33.33. So that's what is the average which has come. So group is used for aggregation, for the aggregate functions like sum, average, max, min, and count. So now what I did was we did a count of age, how many age elements are there. Okay, so I have done specifically for count age and count first name to notify you that in all the cases, whenever you will count any of the column, the number would just be same. Because when you group for a country, the number of columns for that country would always be same. Average we saw earlier. Sum, if you have to sum these 2 elements, 25, 30 plus 20 is 50. Max age is how much? 30. Min age is 20. Similar thing has been done for USA also. Now with group by, we sometimes use something called as a having. So here in the group by, what we did was, first we did the aggregate with the help of group by country, but at the same time we wanted to have a condition here. With group by, we wanted to have a condition here. So the average, where the average is greater than 30. So average is greater than 30 only in the case of USA. So that's where only USA is listed. So let's read it again. It filters group data. When you have grouped the data, it filter it further based on the conditions. So here the condition was that the average age is greater than 30. Now union is like the name itself says. So if we have 2 conditions and we want to have a union of them. So what is the first condition? Select star from customers where first name is John. This would list out some columns from the customers, and then we want to have a union with select star from customers where the last name like D. So then it will do the union, and you will see John and the other people, other customers whose last name starts with D. And there are only 2 customers whose last name starts with D. One is John itself and another one is Mike. So that's where we have the condition of union. So in SQL, you can use a subquery. Inside a query, you can use another query. So for the subquery, what I am doing is I am creating a orders table also. So let me create that first. I'll copy it from here and I'll just paste it here to easily create the table. So it created the table, plus it made some entries in the table. So this is a nested query. This is also called a nested query. It is used for complex filtering and data manipulation. So here what we are doing a filtering based on the nested query. So let's read the nested query. Nested query says select order ID from orders where order date is greater than 1st of January 2020. And then what it is saying, where customer ID is in this order ID. If the customer ID and this order ID matches, then only this will filter. Okay, so that's what is the condition here. And if I run this, so what are the orders where order date is greater than this? The first one is not there, but the second, third, fourth, fifth is there. Okay, so these 5 are there in the condition where the condition matches. So order date is greater than 1st of January. These 5 are there. Okay, but what it says is the condition says select star from customers where customer ID in what? in 2 3 4 5 6, because customer ID in the order ID is what we have written. Order ID is what? 2 3 4 5 6. So 6 is not a valid customer ID. If you see the customer table, you will see the customer ID is only till 5, and 1 is excluded here because of the date criteria. So only 2 3 4 5 would be selected, and that's where only 2 3 4 5 are selected in this subquery. Now the last one is very important. This is join. So join is something which will help to consolidate data from two or more different tables. So joins are of different types. This is a left join. This is a left join where you are seeing the left data along with the intersection of left and right. This is a right join where we are seeing the right and the intersection, and there is a full outer join. This is a full outer join. And so different possibilities with the help of different syntax statements is possible. But what we would do here is we will see something called as an inner join. Why we are going to see inner join is because this is the join which is most predominantly used in SQL queries. Okay, so here what happens is we have two tables, and what we are doing here is we are taking an intersection. So we are taking an intersection, meaning we are taking elements which are there in A table and which are there in B table as well. So what we do here for writing a join is select, and we have the condition from table inner join table B. Okay, so which items we have to select is the select list from which? From table, and with join with table B. On is a statement which we have to write, and then we have to give the conditional statement. This will become more clear once we see our code. Let's see that. So we have these two tables which we have created now, the orders table and the customers table. Okay, with these two tables, let's see the join now. So what we have done here is we have done select star from customers, join orders. So the two tables which are there for which we have to take the intersection is customer and the orders table, where customer ID is matching in both the columns. We have this data. So the customer ID in this right side is this 1 2 3 4 5, and in the left side is 1 2 3 4 5 in the customer table. In the orders table, the customer ID, the order for customer 1 is repeated, meaning the customer 1 had given 2 orders. So there are 2 elements here, but 1 2 3 4 5 6. So basically intersection, when you take an intersection of this table and this table, everything will come. Why? Because all the elements of left is present on the right, and then when we join, we would be able to see them in a coherent way. Let's see. So we joined it here, and we are able to see the customer name, customer details, and finally his order ID. So he had placed order ID 1 and order ID 2 in these two dates, and same for the other customers also. Now let's create some more tables to have a comprehensive understanding of joins. So what would happen here is we have customers, we have orders already. Now we may have order items. So order items means what all order products are there in the order. So we have order items, and order items would have products. So let's create these two tables also. I've copied, pasted, and created the tables and the data. Now what I want to do here is I want to have all the orders which are placed by John. So meaning all the products, not orders, but all the products which are placed by John. So if we see this data here, so this is John. So John, how we are joining the tables is first we will join the customer table with the order table. So for the John with this customer ID, which orders are there? So these two orders are there. So first intersection would lead to these two orders. Okay, now when we intersect it with order items table, we have to see the order ID 1 and 2. So order ID 1 and 2 are these three. Okay, so these three are the order IDs for this customer. Again, what we do is we intersect it again with the product table. So where this had which products? It has product 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and 1 2 3 are what? Cake, vegetables and fruits. So basically these three products should be returned by the SQL. So that's what is returned here. So this is a comprehensive join where we were able to join multiple tables. And always remember, if there are multiple joins which are there, it starts from the first, it will intersect these two and a subset would be fetched. then that subset would be joined against another table, then subsequently that subset, whatever subset came in the previous step, would be joined and another subset would be created. Thank you very much.